Good morning, YouTube. It's 44 degrees, and it looks like there's going to be a little bit of rain potentially, but I got some work to do, and I got some stuff I want to show you. Hopefully we got a problem solved today. I'm not sure, though.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
First things first. I don't know if you guys can see in the background, a little bit more messy, but not messy. I'll show you why. My Snap-on box is gone. I had that on Craigslist, and a guy came out and purchased it. He works on a farm. He was all excited. We loaded up on his trailer, which it was pretty heavy. I don't care if it's empty or not. That thing's made of some decent steel, and we got it out of here. But in the meantime, I have so many tools that I still have to go through. This whole trash can's filled with stuff. This is filled with stuff. And this thing is filled with stuff. And that it all came out of that toolbox. So my son-in-law, he's going to be coming over, and we're basically going to be sorting through tools. I'm going to be handing them off to him, so he can hand them off to his child, my grandchild. You know, at some point down the road, it's something to pass down the line, because there are a lot of nice tools here, and he loves working on stuff. My son-in-law loves working on stuff. So we're heading over this way. We're working on the truck and the hitch situation. Yeah, this is what I wanted to avoid, having to run one of these things, but I don't really have a choice. So we're gonna have to run a sleeve in there. You can see, yeah, it sticks out just a little bit, just like that. And then this is the drop hitch, and I'm not even sure if this is going to work. This is the one that's 9 inches in drop, and I kind of need like 9.5-ish. So hopefully it'll be enough. I don't know for sure. You can see currently what I have on there, and the other thing is this rock guard thing that I have most likely won't work for this truck. I mean, they're not long enough. They're from the top to the bottom. Those just aren't enough distance. But we'll see. I'm going to put the link down below for this stuff in case you have a Super Duty and you're trying to get a pretty decent drop because you have a trailer that the coupler height isn't that high. Again, the top of my coupler on my RV, when it is level, when it's parked and leveled out, the top of the coupler is 17.5 inches. That's it, just 17.5 inches. That's not very high. Go from that 17.5 coupler height, the top of the coupler, up to a hitch that measures just over 23 inches on the inside upper lip. So of the square that's on the back of your receiver of your truck, if you measure the top inside line from the ground when the truck's level, on level ground, we're about 23 and like 5/16. So let's just say 23 inches. This drop should be okay. It should be the right one. We're going to find out. So, but one of the things I wanted to point out is I was really concerned with all of the tools that I'm going to be losing at some point down the road here. I really wanted an impact wrench because life gets really easy with an impact wrench. However, I didn't find any that I thought were good enough, and the ones that I thought were good enough were just way too expensive. They're like $1,000 for a good Snap-on impact. But I found one that I've read every review, I've watched every video, and the positives so far outweigh the negatives. This thing has got to be like a Best Buy, and it comes from Harbor Freight. This here, 20-volt lithium, half-inch cordless, 1,200 foot-pounds, and I'm telling you right now that some of the videos that I watched, which were created by guys that were engineers that love to tear stuff apart and talk down about these wrenches, or Harbor Freight Chinese parts in general, they did a complete disassembly of this thing. They showed all the internal components, and they found only a couple of real small weak points, but it was nothing to be really concerned with overall. And they were impressed with how strong it was. So Harbor Freight, look for this one. Make sure you don't get the 3/8, get the 1/2 inch. The 3/8 is a good wrench also, but the 1/2 inch is what you need. Now these things are heavy, they're really heavy, but this is going to allow me to do a lot of work without having an air compressor and an air impact. I've always worked with an air impact doing my brake jobs and tire rotations and stuff, so this will allow me to bring it out on the road and do the same thing. The other thing I forgot to do is check this lock. This is my lock to hold the hitch in and see if it's wide enough for a 2.5. It doesn't look like it. I might have to buy another one. So this is just the standard pin I'm gonna have to put in just for the time being. Darn it, I can't believe I forgot about that. I ain't very smart, ain't I? Okay, let's go ahead and slide this baby in. There is a decal on here that might have to come off, but we'll see if it'll go in with the decal first, which I can find that out without muscling it in there. Oh yeah, that works. Yeah, you can see the reason that I don't want to use a sleeve, an adapter, because there's a whole bunch of slop that's going on there. I don't like any of that. We got a hitch in there. We got a hitch pin. You can see sloppy. Look at all the slop. Yeah, I'm definitely not liking this. I'll put my my thing on here to help with all that, but I can only do so much. You can see here, that won't even go over. I don't think that'll go over. It doesn't have to, but I wanted it to cover both. Yeah, there's something else I got to deal with. Well, we'll come to that bridge when I burn it. Got to be concerned with how high to put this. You know, which hole to put this in. Man, we need another RV. I am not flipping my axles on that old RV. It's too short and it's too light to be sticking it up in the air. I don't care how tall the truck is. You shouldn't take your center of gravity and raise it any more than it should be. That's one of the features of the RV that I really liked, you know, as far as how well it tows. And not that I'm doing any high-speed cornering or anything, but you know, it really does corner really well. It goes around corners without feeling like a spring-loaded bobblehead or something back there. But look how low this hitch is. That thing is low to the ground. That's crazy. Alright, so since we don't have the RV here, we're going to do some goofy math. Now I've got this measured out, and this is going to be really rough estimates, but it should get me close because my rough estimates are usually pretty good. They're pretty good. So I've got this squared off. That's what the T-square is. It doesn't have to be exact. I think there might be a weld up there that's moving it 1/8 of an inch, but for the most part you can see the shanks and the differences. Now there's a couple differences I noticed right away, and that is I don't like the fact that we've got 4 inches from the center of the hole to the edge, the outside edge of this shank, meaning that I have 4 inches that's going into the shank to help with stability. Why this one only has 3 inches, so I lose 1 inch of stability going into the shank. I mean, it's like anything else. It's better leverage. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to bend or anything like that. It's just I would rather have it longer like this. The other thing, this is going to be a big one for me. I don't think that I like this at all. If you go from the edge of this shank to the mounting hole, we're at 11 inches. I'm 11 inches from the edge of the shank to the mounting hole. That means that whenever I mounted this on and put it in the truck, it came out from the truck quite a bit, the old truck. At the point that I was installing it, I thought that that might be a problem. Well, it wasn't a problem, because quite honestly, you want your load as close as you can to the rear axle, meaning tongue weight. You want that ball, that coupler, to connect as close to the axle of the vehicle that's towing as possible, except when you're worried about clearance for backing up and turning, and in our case, dropping the tailgate without hitting the power jack. Well, guess what? This one from the center of the hole is 9 inches. I lose 3 inches of hitch sticking out from the truck. Well, you don't think 3 inches is much, but that old truck's tailgate just barely cleared the power jack by about maybe 4 inches. And guess what? The new truck's tailgate is longer. It's taller. And when you put it down, it's longer. And I bet you it hits the power jack now. So that might be an issue. I'm not happy about that at all. So there's 2 things there that right away I don't like. Actually 3. This is a 2-inch shank. I don't like that. I wanted a 2.5-inch shank so I didn't have to use an adapter. Second of all, it's shorter, sticking out the back of the vehicle. So now I got to worry about when I drop my tailgate if it hits the power jack. I bet you it does. And the third thing is it doesn't go into the shank as far as this one to support it in the first place. With all that said, maybe we need to be shopping for another RV even more now. All because of a shank hookup, you say? Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll talk about that someday. Now, in the meantime, this is where the weird math comes into play. I know that whenever this hitch was mounted on the old truck, that the height of the old truck, when this was bolted to this hole right here as the top hole, or this hole as the bottom hole, was the correct height for the RV. It was the exact correct height to hook up the RV and tow the RV with that old truck loaded. However, we needed more of a drop with this new one because the old truck's hitch height was 19 inches and the new truck's hitch height inside the receiver tube at the top is 23 inches and a little bit, like 23 and 5/16. So let's try to do some goofy math. I know right now if I transferred this hitch over and bolted it up to this, I wouldn't have a hole for the top bolt, but I do for the bottom bolt. I know that these bottom holes match. So what I need to do is make up for the difference in hitch heights. So like I said, my old truck was 19 inches. The new truck is basically 23 inches. We can all do the math. You're talking 4 inches difference there. Each one of these holes is 1.25 inches down. So if I had the bottom hole on this mounted right here and it matches this one, we need to go 1 more inch, 2 more inch, 3 more inch, and now you're like, oh, you didn't have enough. That doesn't drop it enough. Well, yeah, it does, because we forgot about the quarters. So there's 3 3/4 inches if I mount it on this bottom hole. So that's what I'm going to do, and we should be really close here. So let's go ahead and hook it up and find out what, and actually just see what it looks like more than anything else. All right, let's see if my dumb math worked, because it's going to be questionable. There's a lot of tight clearances going on here. I got the receiver in here. I hate it. Did I mention I hate this? I hate it. I don't think it's right. I hate it. It's dumb. I hate it. Oh well. Now we'll go ahead and slide in the new receiver. And you can see already one of the reasons I hate it, because now I got to line up 2 holes. I hate it. Alright, so that's in there. Here's the other reason I hate it. Look at all this. Look at all that movement. That is too much. That's way too much. Even if I put my anti-rattle thing on here, that's still too much. That's too much. And I don't even think I can get it to reach over to the hitch. Maybe. I might be able to. I'm thinking no. Yeah, I'm thinking no. Because of this part here, this reinforcement, the anti-rattle doesn't work. This is becoming more and more of a nightmare as I go along. Oh, I hate it. The funny part is this adapter, I've already had people say, yeah, my Ford truck came with one. Yeah, they used to. Can you believe that? They, for the 2019 models, they discontinued giving them with the new trucks. Okay, back to what we were doing, and we're gonna mount the bottom hole of the hitch head to the bottom hole of the shank. Like I say, it's a good thing I have gloves on today, because not only is it a little chilly out, which it's not, it's like I said, it's 44, but man, grease. I had this thing greased pretty darn well for our trip to Virginia, and it's showing. Now this one, again, I marked these so I know kind of the angle that I need to be at. All that needs to be adjusted at another time. Now these are supposed to be torqued and all that happy stuff. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just wanting to get them on here for right now. Okay, so this is supposed to be the hitch height and the angle in which the old one was. It should be pretty much identical. The only problem I have is all this rattling. I don't know how to take care of that, and it's making me mad. I can't use this, so I have to cut a notch. I'm going to cut a notch in my the this part here so that it will clear this bracket. That way it'll slide on and maybe it'll make this noise go away. Let's try it out. And then we'll measure. We'll measure the height here and see what it looks like. Alright, so I cut down that anti-rattle thing, so now this is solid again. It's not making any noise. So I've had Heidi driving all over this driveway, and we got it to where the back's a little bit on the high side, I think, but we should get an idea here. Yeah, 18 inches. So I think we're there. I think this is it. You can see what kind of crazy drop that is, though. That don't even look right, but it's bolted the way that it should be. So what we're probably going to do here is just tighten this down, snug it up, torque it up, whatever, and then we're going to hook it to the trailer and see what it all looks like, because I think it looks funky. What do you think?
I don't think we have a choice with the new truck versus an old trailer.
Yeah, new truck, old trailer. Maybe we need new truck, new trailer.
Well, I'm sure. But we have it up the street right now.
Yeah.
So it's got to be moved sometime. We can't sell it from there.
Yeah, we can sell it from there. All right, let's go get some of this stuff cleaned up so we can do what we need to do. Yeah, Heidi was saying, oh, you could probably sell your old drop hitch. Well, I have the original hitch the guy gave us when we got the trailer, and it did not have a drop. It didn't even have weight distribution. Or actually, it did have weight distribution, but it was just straight. It was just a straight shank. That didn't work. So then we got another drop shank that I bought, and I bought it used, and it was good for the F250, but then we got our old F250, and I had to buy that shank, which I think was like $130, and it's perfect. I love this shank. It's a really good shank. It's made well. You've seen all the dimensions on it. But, of course, now it's left, and she goes, well, you could sell all those things, can't you? Well, no, because if we get a new trailer, I guarantee I don't need that kind of drop with the new trailer. That's not even close. So we'll have to see what that's all about. We're driving up to where the RV is stored, which again, it's not very far. How many miles do you think that is, Hyde?
3?
Yeah, about, yeah. And we're going to just hook up the RV and see what it looks like. And we may have problems. We may have issues that we need to address for just the wiring, because my connector, I don't remember it being overly long. It was long enough for the old truck, but the old truck wasn't as far away from the receiver as this truck is going to be. And my old setup had the 7-pin connector underneath the bumper of the old F250, and this one is on top of the bumper. So we'll see how that all works out. It's going to be all proof in the pudding coming up right away.
He's putting the secret code in.
Yep, we're here. This is the storage unit. No flammable storage. You can see why I had to take the propane tanks off. I don't know if they would have said anything necessarily, but I didn't want to tick anybody off, so we got rid of it. And then we have to drive for like a mile once we get in here. It's a nice easy. Now this is open storage. This is not enclosed storage for RVs. But you know, we've got 2 spots. I could actually put something bigger in here, and it's $50. It's $50 for the month. It's actually $49. And there she sits in all of its glory.
The heck? Somebody dragging?
I don't know. It looks like they tried to plow in here or something. So this is where the truth is to be known. Poor old RV sitting out here. We haven't covered it up. It's really dirty. Oh well.
Probably not going to get covered up.
Yeah, probably won't get covered up. So here we get to check our new little camera action here. And you can see when you're backing up, this black line as I turn the steering wheel, you know?
It's not a black line, it's a white one.
The one in the middle is a black line. So colorblind people know black and white.
Are you sure?
More than everybody else.
I forgot about that.
So then when you get a little bit closer and you're like, I can't really see. The contrast isn't. Boom! How about that? Tells me where I'm going. I need to go this way more. So this is a nice addition. This is better than the camera setup that we had before. That's for sure. And as far as the height, I can't do nothing right now. Ooh, there's something else. I might not be able to connect to this. And the reason is because if the cable doesn't reach to the truck, I can't turn on the power for the jack. Let's go see what's happening out here. Here's where the proof is in the pudding for sure.
Not long enough.
I don't know. Is it?
Don't look like it.
I don't know. Is it? I got it rigged up for the old setup. But yeah, it's pretty close. Boom. I could probably, no, that's about right. That's about right. Looks like we got just enough height. I don't know. Ooh, I heard a little clicky click click. Now, we know for a fact that I gotta get this ball thing off. We know for a fact that this is an issue. Okay, everybody, ready for the truth? Oh, I don't know. It's gonna be awful close. I gotta get it hooked up. I think it's gonna hit. We'll see what it looks like. I gotta get this crap out of the way. All right, let me. Wow. Yeah, we definitely need the cord. We need to do something about the cord.
It's too short.
Yeah, just need an adapter there. Yeah, the problems keep on multiplying. The other problem is our tow hooks. I don't know if they'll work with this thing. Oh, I thought I was close enough. Thought it was going to squeeze something.
And you were. Okay. Now, why you gotta quit letting off your brake when you put it in park. You gotta let it get in park. It always rolls forward.
I'm saying okay. I'm not okay. Oh, the truck does squat. Listen to the water running off of it.
The camper?
Yeah. Watch the truck squat. I guess that's it. That's all it's squatted. Whatever. Oh, they almost worked. That'll happen. Yeah, look how close it is. So here's the truth of the matter. We already know the answer, I think. Boom.
Oh, if it didn't have that light.
It would still hit. It would still hit.
Maybe.
No, I'm positive. I'm positive it would still hit. All right, guys, here we are in the old truck. We're going up a little, or new truck. We're going up a little bit of a hill. And I have to say that it accelerates a lot like the old truck. Yeah, that's 70. So it does a pretty good job. Heidi and I has been driving around now trying to figure out what the difference is, and one of the things is I think that the weight distribution bars have a little bit too much tension on them from what I can tell during the drive here. And that's because I don't have that angle quite right for this new truck, which I knew would be off a little bit. And as far as this thing being in control of the trailer, it definitely is. It's more in control than the old truck was. The old truck had all new bushings and shocks and everything that was necessary. But I know that if I force this thing into a sway by turning the wheel back and forth, this thing likes to straighten it up right away. Now it does have electronic sway control, but I don't see where that's being activated anywhere. It's nice because I can set up the trailer specifically, you know, for the trailer that I'm pulling, and I can do different things with the brake gain. But right now it's not so bad. I just let it kind of default itself for most of the settings, and it's pretty good. It stops real well. Not bad. I think it's going to be very nice. I did notice that at like 60 miles an hour, I mean, you could see it just over, well, it's about 54 miles an hour. We're at like 1,400 RPMs, 1,500 RPMs. The old truck would never do that because it just didn't have it. It had those 410 gears. However, I noticed that if I'm at like 63 miles an hour, even on a flat, because this has 373s, it will kick itself out of overdrive, or I should say sixth gear, one of the overdrives, and go to fifth. The thing is even if I ran in fifth at that speed, it's still less RPMs than what the old truck was. So, so far so good. Again, I don't think that we've got much to complain about as far as the new truck's concerned and its towing capability. This is going up the hill in front of our house. And it just likes to wind out more, but it doesn't feel like it's falling off in power at all. Now, to give you an idea, the old truck, the RPM range in which it liked to operate in was basically from 1,700 and let's say 2,800 to go on the high end of that scale. This truck here likes to pull between 3,200 RPMs. Once it gets to 3,500 RPMs, it's full on torque, and that torque is pretty flat and hardly falls off at all the way up to almost 5,000 RPMs. So I like that. I like that there's a larger range. Now, of course, the engine's operating at a higher RPM when you're doing that, but you know, that's just for when I'm accelerating like a goofball and whenever we're towing up a hill or something. So I expect to see this thing operating around 4,000 RPMs going up hills quite a bit. Maybe even up closer to 5,000 RPMs if the hill's steep enough and I'm trying to push it. But very good. And we did have to do some changing around, some screwing around with the cable, the plug, the RV plug, because when we pulled out of the storage area, it pulled the plug out of the truck. And then Heidi said it was dragging. I told her she was full of it, and I got out of the truck to see that it was dragging. So she wasn't full of it. But we went ahead and rearranged it underneath the RV for the time being to give it a little bit more length, and it's working just fine now. We have plenty of length. We'll just have to find a way to fasten it so it's not, you know, brazing up against something to where it's going to cause a problem. But you can see here, I'm in fifth gear at 60, just kicked over to sixth. Nice easy cruising. I don't know if you can see the road up here, but just nice easy cruising. This might be slightly downhill right at this time, but it will get flattened out, and I'm just above 1,500 RPMs. We're going to say it's about 1,600 RPMs in sixth gear, towing at 60. It's relatively smooth, even though I know the weight distribution bars might be a little bit more tight than what they should be. It's still not bad. It's feeling really good. So what do you think about it?
I think it's pretty comfortable.
She said it's much quieter than our old truck, which we know that.
I mean, our old truck wasn't
loud,
noisy, or it's because this is new.
Yeah.
It doesn't ride any different. Well, I shouldn't say any different, because everything's new. It rides a teeny tiny bit more comfortable.
I agree. And these towing mirrors, whoo, huge difference there. I can see a lot. I can actually see the wheels and tires of the trailer when I'm turning corners to see if I'm clearing a curb or whatever. That's not the case before. That's not the case at all before. So yeah, very good. We're gonna go back to the storage unit and put this baby back to sleep until we decide to take it to a dealer and get a trade-in. Yeah, we're back, and I'm going to take the hitch off and know that we're pretty close there. I need to change the angle up a little bit, just a little bit, not very much. And what I mean by that is just tilt this thing closer, make the ball closer to the hitch, and would be okay. Like I said, the torsion bars were just a little bit tighter than I would like. And I'm really disappointed that I can't drop the tailgate. Yeah, oh well. But the trailer towed real well. Everything was nice and easy. Nothing out of the ordinary. The acceleration is comparable to what my old 460 is. The difference is this thing, whenever you're not full throttling it, is much smoother. And the RPMs drop much lower whenever I'm in 5th gear or 6th gear, above and beyond what that old truck did. So I think we're in good shape here. We'll have to continue to work on this whole process and see what we want to do.